You're watching live at-bats pre-spring training games. Is the hitting issue really dealing with the swing mechanics, or does it have to do with poor judgment for the ball? In the scouting world, scouts call this adjustability. It's great that our scouts can identify this. Bigger than scouts identifying adjustability is a coach who can teach hitting adjustability. In a lot of these hitting clips, you're going to watch me pause the video in the general area where sports science tells us that hitters first pick up the flight path of the ball. When the hitter's eyes don't get into the right place at the right time, too often the hitter will experience panic, desperation, emergency mode. And that's what you see right here. The batter can't get the barrel head out to the ball. And most hitting coaches assume that it has to be your swing mechanics. You're flawed somewhere. Usually at every level of baseball, swing mechanics is not the problem, although it's important. The root of the hitting problem is because your brain is late. You process too slow. So why do you process slow? Look at this pitch just lock up this hitter. Maybe he's guessing. Maybe he's waiting for an off-speed pitch. But it's twice in a row he got a pitch on the inside part of the plate and he couldn't do anything with it. Could it be, in theory, that he doesn't see inside pitches well? His brain has a hard time processing that particular space. Okay, here's Lars Nootbaar. He's the next batter. This is his expected batting average on this particular space. Based on their charts and graphs, Lars does not see the outside pitches very well. All sports are played in spaces. The best hitters in baseball know how to dominate two spaces. The space they will see the ball in, and the space the ball will be in when the bat touches the ball. The ball is already in the catcher's mitt by the time Lars looks down to where the ball would be if he was going to hit it. Regretfully, our hitting culture is losing touch of the material, the compounds that are inside elite hitters. One compound is not the bat speed, it's the brain speed. The catcher sets up on the outside corner, but the pitcher throws it to the inside. Watch where I freeze the video. This is where hitters need to expect and prepare and plan to see the ball. Knowing and using the pitcher's common denominator helps the hitters to get their eyes on the starting line just before the ball gets to the starting line. And what do you see in the swing? You see panic, desperation. You see someone in emergency mode. Misjudge the ball. This is why Lars is over swinging. There's more clips to come like this. And when these hitting examples come up, ask yourself a question. Is the hitter trying to smash the ball, or is the hitter trying to outsee the ball? Use the eyes to race the ball to the finish line. And then the ball's moving. Again, watch how late his face is to get to the finish line. So when this occurs, as a hitting researcher, as a hitting scientist, where's the error message coming from? How do we fix this? Too often it's the case, it's at the front door. Hitters put their eyes in the wrong place at the wrong time. And sometimes when this occurs, they end up watching the ball a tick too long, which makes the brain late, which makes their eyes late, and makes their bat late. It's all about space, fellas. Look at the chart. How do you fix this? The answers to these questions are inside the folder called Hitting Perception. Watch this guy. His eyes are late. His camera's late. Can't you see that he's in panic mode? Sometimes hitters don't even think about the ball until they see the ball. All elite hitters have this trait. They use their eyes like the eye's a camera for the brain. The camera has got to be in the right place at the right time. If it's not, in photography terms, the image will be pixelated, distorted, and the brain can't make sense of it. You see, being a former player myself and raising a son who's played Major League Baseball, when you stand in the batter's box, or in a live game, or even when you train and practice, you must consume yourself, fixate yourself, and become obsessed with the ball. Now here's a tough one. That's a changeup. And this is what the scouts refer to as adjustability. Please don't fall for the trap thinking if you have more bat speed, you'll have more adjustability. It doesn't work that way. I'm going to help you understand something about elite hitters. There is one last thought you have just before you see the ball. And that thought is, where do my eyes go next? Now here's a good example. Because the hitter got his eyes in the right place at the right time, right there, his brain has more time to process the ball's speed, the ball's space, and the depth the ball's passing through. His brain got to the finish line just before the ball got to the finish line. Next is a player who has a nice, smooth swing. So why is it a backwards foul ball? It appears to be a belt-high fastball right down the middle. You see, this is a prime example that this is not a swing issue. If we had a zoom-up camera from behind the pitcher's back in center field, from that angle, you can watch the hitter's eyes and look to see, does he get his eyes in the right place at the right time? Judging by the swing, he didn't see the ball good. He saw it late in the flight path. Okay, so once you recognize it, how do you fix it? You train hitters to think faster than the ball is moving at the starting line and the finish line. Here's a wipeout slider. As a hitter, how good are you at processing the front door and then the back door? This is what I tell players. Stop trying to hit the ball and replace it with trying to outsee the ball. You outdo the ball. Win the race to the starting line, win the race to the finish line. If you follow this approach, you're going to be very good at hitting in real games. And that's how the elite hitters do it. Watch how this next hitter has to muscle up. Is it pitch in an awkward spot? Definitely. For a ball that's pitched up and in, there's 3 basic ways to reply to this location. This batter's response is to turn and burn. Turn the hips, the shoulders, the bat, all at one time. If the batter would have seen the ball cleaner at the front door, the theory is he would have made a better reply at the back door. This next clip is an example of how to respond to a rapid moving object. Happily, Sonny Gray gets out of the way of this line drive. Just stop and consider what just happened. The pitcher sees the ball scorched off the bat and actually makes a calculated choice to turn away from it. The video is paused here to show you how the hitter's face gets to the finish line just before the ball arrives there. For an elite hitter, hitting is less about body speed and it's more about brain speed. How fast can you process a rapid moving object? Here's an example of what I'm talking about. He may have bat speed, but he doesn't have brain speed. He picks up the ball too late and he's ambushed. He's in desperation mode. Let's watch it again. It's a higher pitch. He just can't catch up to it. And I understand the ideas of effective velocity, how higher pitches will appear to be faster than they actually are. My own playing experiences and also from the sports science laboratories, this is approximately the depth a hitter will locate the ball from a live pitcher. What you see at the freeze frame at the finish line is that the bat, the ball, and the hitter's face all arrive at the same time. And because the brain is so late in processing a rapid moving object, the kinetic chain that influences the swing mechanics and swing path is influenced in a negative manner. Now coming up, this is an example of bat rage, desperation mode, panic, inside pitch, he just can't catch up to it. Okay, let's watch it again in slower motion. I'm going to freeze frame the spot where he should pick up the baseball. Right about here. It varies between 7, 8, 9, 10 feet in front of the pitcher. My hunch is this. The batter saw the ball well, but it just took him too long to process the pitch. Batters are required to process speed, space, and depth. One theory I have to explain why hitters at every level have a hard time of timing their eyes to the right place at the right time is associated with overusing pitching machines. From experience and from research, how a batter watches a ball being ejected from a pitcher's body versus being spit out of a pitching machine requires the batter to process 2 different pitching compositions. The second association with not picking up the ball properly has to do with batting practice and how coaches don't pitch batting practice. Instead, they throw batting practice and they stand 25, 30 feet away. This type of batting practice does not duplicate the same visual demands that are placed on hitters in a real game. Okay, what we got here? A lefty on lefty matchup, curveball. Now watch this with an open mind and think about what our community tells our hitters. Our hitting culture tells hitters, listen, if you have bat speed, you can wait longer. If you played the game and the more you watch and research hitters, it doesn't come down to your bat speed, it comes down to your brain speed. And you give your brain more time to process the pitch when you time your eyes to the front door. And what kind of hitting outcome do you have when you don't time your eyes? You misjudge the ball. That kind of outcome. And what controls the eyes? It's your brain. Scouts love to see adjustability. How quickly can you go from seeing a curveball to next seeing a fastball and demonstrating the ability to square it up? Watch how late, watch how slow the batter's face reacts to the back door, the finish line. The hardest thing in sports is not actually hitting a baseball. What's hard is getting a scored hit in a real game. And that's not easy. What actually may be harder than getting a real hit in a real game is teaching someone the pure elements that actually make it happen. The elements that make it work, make it tick, make it click are found in a folder called hitting perception. For my son, Alex Kirilloff, before all his bodily injuries and surgeries, this is the hitting system he was taught and he relied on. I'm Dave Kirilloff, languageofhitting.com, and with the Kirilloff Baseball School. You don't have any more time to waste. Get our system today and start using it immediately. Change your baseball destiny.